It's a Sunday morning here. Today we're going to talk about the troll series. As I ask myself the question, what can I do to help to maybe try to improve what's going on in society today? I hate to have the thought that I can do nothing. And honestly, that's probably the case nonetheless, but I'm going to try. I think one of the mistakes that we make in life is just to say that it is what it is. I don't like that framing. It implies that you've exhausted all possibilities. And I simply think that that's a cop-out. It applies to me too. I'm a hypocrite. Sometimes I like to say, well, it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about the situation. But what I'm finding as I sit and think about solutions to problems, that's usually not the case. What you run into, though, is being able to talk others into the idea that maybe, there's a better way of doing things, that maybe their thinking is flawed, or that maybe you have to make an internal change in order to make some progress somewhere. And so I'm going to start at the lowest common denominator. And what does that mean? I'm trying to outline things in our society that are corrosive. We could talk about our political apparatus in the United States. We can look at the global stage and look at different countries and how they lead their people, or lack of leadership for their people. They have people starving in their streets. You can't have political dissent because there's no such thing as freedom of speech in some countries. So you can just think about simple things like that and see how there are corrosive elements to our societies that just don't help. They don't help the individual live their life. And it's a strange dichotomy because we want people to have individual freedom and thought. However, I think we understand that we work better collectively, because what I do in my house might actually affect you outside in the public. I don't have a good example. Oh, my religion. If I'm practicing my faith in an outward manner, it might be off-putting to you. And we could have that debate as to whether or not that's right. But I think as long as I'm not proselytizing, I'm not knocking on your door to express my opinion. I'm seeking out my group, my tribe that actually believes in that way. Maybe that's not so bad. However, there are bad components to religion, and we're going to talk about that. They're part of the troll series, but that's not what I'm going to talk about today. Today, we want to outline the definition, make a couple of rules about trolling that hopefully we can all adhere to. I'm complicit. I am a hypocrite. I have been a troll in my life and simply involved myself in arguments, whether they were in person or online, and all I was looking for was a stimulus, because I didn't like the opposing point of view, because it simply didn't agree with mine. There was no intellect behind it. It was simply a fight for the sake of a fight, and that's simply too much chaos. And if you look at the proliferation of social media, it doesn't matter what platform it is. Everybody has the opportunity to express their opinion. And should every opinion everybody should be entitled to their opinion, but they're not all valid. And that's just a sad truth. Eventually we have to discuss what the truth is. And what I'm encouraging here is that we stop certain behavior. And I know this is a pipe dream. This is some sort of altruistic reality that I'm trying to develop, but I don't think it's in the realm of impossible. What I'm asking people to do is stop trolling. That is it. Our parents taught us better, and so I'm going to get into it. And so I'm going to define what a troll is, make a couple of rules, kind of describe some of the side effects that trolling has had on our society, give you some examples of the types of trolls, because I'm going to keep talking about trolls because we're all complicit. We all participate in this low-grade degradation of society, and we're eating at each other's insecurities. We're targeting them and being malicious. Even intelligent people are getting called dumb, and they have the right answer. There is such thing as a right answer for certain things, and we're denying the truth. And the problem with that is we're denying the truth to ourselves, because eventually all that stuff is going to catch up to us. So this is Juan Dorado trying to help put his best foot forward and see if there's any there. That's it. Okay, so the troll series. The first rule: don't be a troll. It's not complicated. So why don't you want to be a troll? Let's define it. So if you look in the dictionary, there's two definitions. The first one involves the folkloric caricature of the troll, right? It's the dark, the musky, the dank, just ogreish little short creature that creates nothing but chaos. The other type of troll, right, which is a more modern version, is it's the lowest or least sophisticated level of provocateur. At least that's my definition. Intertwined with the dictionary definition, which is an online troll, right? Somebody who's online just to get, just to instigate, just to provoke a reaction, right? That's the definition of the troll. I like to embellish on it because it's more detrimental to that. I know the black and white of it, the dictionary is just telling you what it is. I'm trying to outline the effects. What are one of the effects? Senseless chaos. So in our own individual lives, when senseless chaos enters it, there's some sort of disturbance. Traffic is a good analogy because you're driving and somebody cuts you off and all of a sudden you get triggered. A lot of us get mad. We suffer from road rage. That's not necessarily a purposeful provocation. Frequently it is, but what does that invoke in us? A negative reaction. And how healthy is that for us? It isn't. So when you have a bunch of senseless provocation being created by trolls, all of us suffer, including the troll. I mean, this is detrimental to the troll too, but again, we are all participants. If you're the one in the road rage and cutting people off, not using your blinker, brake checking people, I don't understand that behavior, but like we all suffer from these ailments. So again, it's senseless chaos. And the more we can reduce that, the better overall as a society we function, the healthier we become. Because instead of having to react to all these negative inputs or this negative stimuli that is actually looking for a reaction, it saves those negative experiences. That's it. I think there's a benefit to just not having to go through nonsense and also preserving our brothers and sisters' sanity. Why are we going to inject chaos into a life that is already chaotic and already hard? And there are real problems. There are better problems to focus our energy on. What else? They're indifferent. You know, when you get in that troll mode or you get hit by a troll or trolled by a troll, they're indifferent. You have no care. There's no emotion. There's no nurturing. There's no fostering. There's nothing. There's nothing positive to it. So what I'm seeing is the troll, the prototypical folkloric troll that exists in the movies and in our nightmares and in our dreams and in our fantasies. It has spawned into reality in the form of the online troll, or you can do it in person. You can troll people in person. If you have a leg up, if you're trying to be a smart ass, like we troll each other in person. Although it's harder to do because people are less courageous when they're in front of you. But for those trolls who are just willing to stick the knife in and twist it in your presence, I mean, that's really a manifestation of the folkloric troll standing in front of you, just creating chaos for no good reason. There's a time to present an opposing point of view and an idea that isn't popular. And I'm not saying not to do that. Do those things. But don't inject chaos in people's lives or into society for the sake of doing it. I mean, just saying out loud that way sounds evil. And maybe it is. There's a dark side to it, though. There's definitely a dark component to it. I think labeling it evil might be mischaracterizing it a bit in the extreme. But in the overall, in the aggregate, if you look at all the trolling that's going on in our lives right now, you could say it's a really big negative dark force if we combine it. So how do you combat it? Don't feed the trolls. You just don't participate. And that's easier said than done. I'll continue to use the traffic analogy. When you get cut off or something happens, it invokes that response. Like we're naturally attuned to bullshit. And when we see it, sometimes it invokes a physical response in a negative way. It's going to take discipline. You have to unlearn those reactions. And why do we want to do that? So trolls need energy to exist. If people didn't get a response from the bullshit, they would stop doing it because it simply wouldn't gain any there wouldn't be any benefit to it. right? And energy, I'm sorry, trolls, their energy is built around attention. They're seeking attention for some reason. They desire to achieve attention in that way. I try not to operate my life that way. I'd rather have attention from, my partner, my friends, um, other people who are interested in the same ideas or the same hobbies, etc. Like that's more positive way to get attention or to seek attention or to provide attention to others, because we reciprocate. The troll doesn't reciprocate. All he wants is the negative attention, and because he's a or she is addicted to the reaction, and so in that vein, whenever we react, we're feeding the troll, even if we do so unintentionally. So it takes a lot of training or detraining, unlearn those bad behaviors that automatically causes us to provide a response when we're insulted, or the troll says the right thing and it triggers something. People have turned triggering into a negative connotation. However, it's still a valid word, and it's still a valid description of what happens when somebody says something wrong and pushes the right button in order to get that response from you. They say, well, don't have a button. True enough, right? We should be more disciplined. We should be more intellectually mature and say, okay, this person is just trolling me. They deserve none of my energy or attention. However, there are real buttons that you can push on anybody and you'll get a response. Talk about somebody's mama. And so, because those things, they're talking shit about things that are important to us. Even then, though, right? What did Jesus say? Turn the other cheek. And maybe your value system, you say, doesn't permit you to do so. What's going to happen if you walk away? Nothing. You will walk away intact, right? The troll won't get their food, which is your attention and your reaction. And hopefully the trolls start to expire as we practice more discipline and simply just accept that some people are going to be dicks. So the trolling is the lure. The negative comments, the comments that are triggering, they're the lure, right? These people are just fishing for attention, fishing for a reaction. And your emotions, the emotions that come out and manifest itself negatively and feed the troll, that's the catch. That's the fish. They don't care about you. They care about your reaction. That to them is satisfying. So what does that turn them into in my book? Of course, they're a troll in the truest sense of the dictionary term, in the ogreish fashion, the folkloric ogreish fashion, but also the provocateur, the modern provocateur. And in my book, they've morphed into energy vampires. That's all they're doing. They are siphoning energy, negative energy, from you. And the problem is that, so if you generate a negative reaction, that affects you negatively. That's the bottom line. If you choose not to react, your body doesn't go through the stress. You have to understand, if when you're in a conflict, your blood pressure goes up, your body gets ready to fight. It's just nature. And so if we allow the troll to instigate and get our emotions out of balance, right? And here, then we provide them that response that they demand. For them, it's a positive experience. For you, it's a negative experience. And so the challenge is twofold. Do not be a troll, right? Because we do want to stick up for our beliefs and have an opinion about something and feed the conversation. But sometimes it's just better to say nothing at all. Sometimes if it doesn't contribute to the progress of the conversation, maybe we should keep our mouth shut more frequently. I used to be really quiet and I talk a lot more now, but is that a good thing? I have to ask myself. There's a balance. So anyway, don't feed the trolls. They're energy vampires. They're looking for that negative energy generation provided by you, because there's a negative energy consumption on their side. And that loop, all you have to do is break the loop. Don't provide the negative energy. Don't generate that negative energy that allows the troll to continue on his or her path, and provoking and just being a general nuisance for no good reason. All right. So now that we've spoken and given some definition, maybe given some a little bit of philosophical thought about what the troll is, what it does, how it manifests itself into an energy vampire, and how that's a bad experience for you. Let's give some examples um, of each. Well, not, of a low level and a high level is what I mean. Okay, so a high level trope. Let's just talk. Let's just rip the band-aid off. So right now we have a political apparatus that's broken, and so our high level trolls right now on the national stage are presidential candidates. And I don't care which one you talk about. I can speak in generalities, and it's going to apply to both. Because if you're if you're vying for a leadership position and you don't have the best interest of the entire organization, the United States, at heart, then you're going to get elected and you're going to troll the other half. It's the way it worked in 2016. Or I'm sorry, yeah, in 2016. It's the way it worked in 2020. And it's now we have the choices of those two fucking disasters. And it's not right. They're trolling the American people. These people, and I'm talking about presidential candidates, they appoint Supreme Court justices. Our Supreme Court, under the guise of dismantling the system, are simply opening up the doors to corporate America to allow corporations to continue to troll the public. Me and you, right? They want to charge us more for gas, more for any type of energy. It doesn't matter, gas, any type of energy. You don't even have safe food consumption anymore. Do you trust the fucking food that you eat? They're so high level that they affect every single aspect of your life. That's why they're such high level trolls, and they're not injecting anything good. You could talk about any policy. They don't fix anything. They leave the controversies open so that they can run their political campaigns on them. In the meanwhile, nothing gets fixed. And who does it affect? It affects the citizen. And not just the citizen, anybody who lives here. Anybody who lives here. If you make it here and you live here, the policies that are enacted, whether you're here legally or not, it affects us all. And it prevents us from working in a system that's based on solutions as opposed to chaos. And those are the trolls. Those are the high level trolls. And what happens is the effect is disproportionate, meaning they're just saying stuff. They're spreading their lies or misrepresenting the facts or mischaracterizing the problem. But it affects the entirety of the population in a negative way. And they're not even really trying. All they're doing is saying crap. And the nonsense that comes out of their head, all it does is stir the pot. And we're not working towards any solutions for any real problem that the citizen and whoever lives here faces on a daily basis. That's trolling. That's all that is. And why would our potential leader of the country behave in such a manner? And why would we accept it from either one of them? It's nonsense. And it affects us in a negative way. And if you don't think it's creating negative energy, meaning, does it feel kind of tense right now in public if you see a Biden hat and a MAGA hat right next to each other? Yeah, there might be a problem. I'm not saying it's absolute, but because people are so entrenched in their camps and the trolls, the damn leaders, are stoking that fire, there's the tension is a little bit elevated right now, in my opinion. All right. So those are the high level trolls, right? I just went right to the top. And you could go on the global stage, and there's worse trolls than that. If you think of Kim Jong-un or Vladimir Putin or I forget the leader of China, Jinping, I think. It doesn't matter what his fucking name is, right? It's the same concept. They're trolling their people. They're preventing them from getting access to the information to make better informed decisions and live their lives in reality. All right. What's a low level troll? Activists. If you look at activists, what's one thing that's going on right now that we could talk about? Everybody knows about the war in Israel and Palestine, right? You have two warring factions, Hamas, terrorist organization by definition, and they'll admit to it. And you got the IDF, Israeli Defense Forces, really the army for Israel. And there's activists on campuses. They're not debating. They've picked a side, and all they're doing is rooting and chanting and occupying campuses. I think school's out now, so maybe it's not such a big problem. But a lot of these people don't even know why they're protesting. And I'm like, how do you go somewhere and simply not know why you're doing something or participating? Why are you lending energy to something you have no clue about? It defies logic, and it makes you a troll. That's it. You are just a troll. You have no information to support your idea, or you don't even know what the idea is, and you're out there protesting. It doesn't matter which side you're defending or supporting. You're just being a troll. Because if you could just have the intellectual debate in your classroom, or you could have the intellectual debate in a town hall to see, hey, what are the facts here? What is, when we're talking about the humanity piece of it, what's going on with the people of Palestine? Is Hamas really hiding in apartments? I'm sorry, under hospitals? Do they have a tunnel system? Are they using the Palestinian public as shields? Is the IDF being proportional? Maybe not, right? But we have to have those discussions in an intelligent manner. And if you don't have the intelligence to have it, maybe you should just listen or go get the intelligence. You could read a book. The information is available. We're just choosing not to invest ourselves because it's too hard. Getting informed about the subject is hard because you have to connect a lot of dots. Continue to speak about the issue in Israel. There's a long and drawn out history there. There are people there who have been hurt on both sides. The pain and the struggle has endured for centuries, if not millennia. So how do you pick a side if you don't have all those tidbits of information that might cause a Hamas or a Palestinian or an Israeli person to think a particular way? And mind you, you've never been to that part of the world. You probably don't understand those people, not because you're dumb or that they're crazy, but because we're geographically separated by oceans and continents and all this other shit. How do you expect to understand them and then pick a side? So there's a lot of information to gather before you can say, oh no, this guy is right or that guy is wrong. We're just not doing that, and we're picking a side arbitrarily. That is the definition of a fucking troll. There's no other way around it. And again, the effect is disproportionate. What happens when you have these protests by largely uninformed people is that they're just creating a stain on everything. They're not serving any purpose. So what I have written down here is a troll is the opposite of the Midas touch. The Midas touch was a curse too, by the way. But anyway, it's like the Midas touch. Instead of turning stuff to gold, a troll turns everything into shit. Anything that the troll touches turns to garbage. Why? Because the troll doesn't care about intellectual maturity or an intellectual conversation, the truth, the facts, or your feelings or anything relevant. All they care about is a reaction. All they want is your attention, and they want a response. And that's the only objective. And that serves nobody. Matter of fact, it just brings everybody down. It's another addition to all the bullshit that's going on in the country and on the planet. And you're being a troll and not adding anything substantive to the conversation or anything at all. It's a fucking waste of time. Anyway, and of course, the effect is disproportionate. You're affecting everybody for no good reason. And it makes zero sense. So that's my opening series, or my opening salvo in the troll series. I'm going to keep talking about the different ways that we are trolls, right? Because what I'm trying to do is define the problem. And defining the problem is sometimes we just have to list all the characters so that we all understand our role, the role we have to play in the negative, the negative trajectory of our society. And on the global stage, again, the internet has connected us all across the planet. And so we're tending to see all the same problems proliferate in our country. So in the United States, we have a great divide between right and left wing politics. Well, you could look at England, you could look at France, you could look at Germany, you could look at Argentina, Brazil. You can keep going down the list. So many countries are starting to suffer from this problem where the right and the left, all they're doing is trolling each other. The political apparatus, the leaders, quote unquote, are 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 the trolls. They're leading their people to troll them. Maybe that's by design. Maybe that's part of the plan. But you know what? What I know is that you and I are better than that. The people that I talk to, the people that I interface with, I don't let them troll me no more. Why? What do? I walk away. I just don't tolerate it, and I don't fight back because that's exactly what they want. Is it hard to do that way? Is it? No, no, it's not. It's not difficult at all. But there's another responsibility that I have now, and that's to not be a troll to other people. And I'll be honest, until I started looking at the different ways people can inject negativity into other people's lives just by being an asshole, I found my signature all over some of those characters. And it's like, holy shit, I've been doing the same thing. So my commitment is to not do it. And I hope that I can live up to that. Because part of being a leader, or part of being somebody who supposedly is of upstanding character, has to set an example as well. I have to set an example for my kids, even though they're grown. I still have to set that example. And if I'm being a troll, if I'm out there acting a fool on the highway because people cut me off, or I don't like the way other people drive, or they don't use a blinker, whatever, it doesn't fucking matter. I'm part of the problem. And if I'm not setting a good example for them, I'm setting them up for the same behavior, or I'm condoning the same behavior, and I'm not condoning it anymore. And I'm not going to yell at anybody, right? I'm just not going to feed the troll. And I challenge all you to not feed the troll. Look at the places where you are the troll in somebody else's life, and just stop doing it. An easy way to start: don't like anything and don't heart on anything on Instagram that's not or social media that's not related to your family. All the political posts, all your hobbies, all the other nonsense that really isn't significant to your life, don't like it anymore. I mean, you can still view it, still consume the relevant parts of, like, I DJ as a hobby, consume relevant parts of the music. But like sites like The Source, I don't subscribe to that no more. Too much drama. How am I gonna like something when all they do is spread negativity for the most part? I mean, there's good pieces there, but whatever. I'm just not participating anymore. And you know, I had a hard time letting that go. Why? Because they used to have I used to buy the magazine. You used to have the 1 to 5 mics. I mean, that was fun. But they through trolling, they've turned their product, their brand, into shit. But I can say that about almost anything. So just don't like it. Don't click on the like. Literally, just don't physically click on the button, and don't make any comments. Don't make any comments. You can still read through the comments. I like to read through the comments just so I see what other people think. Most of the time, it's just people fighting and garbage, trolling each other. But sometimes somebody will say something thought-provoking. But of course, the trolls consume those people right away, because you can't have a positive comment on social media anymore. But what I'm saying is, if you're gonna consume social media, don't click on the buttons, except for your family. You know, make some rules about that. Make some exceptions, because we do want to celebrate the birthdays, and because that's how we connect to some degree now. Celebrate christening, celebrate people accomplish, their graduations, etc. We do want to support each other, but we don't have to support the trolls at all. And that includes the pages and the media corporations, the whole shit. Fuck them. Don't give them a like. And we have to force them to reform. And how do you do that? Don't give them attention. Because there's no way for them to know that you're looking at the page. Well, actually there is. However, it's less likely that they don't know that you like them if you don't click that you like them, right? They can't target you. It becomes harder. And that's it. I'm committed to not make any more comments online. I haven't done so in a long time. I try not to anyway. I'm guilty. I get sucked in sometimes too, but I'm saying don't do it. Just don't comment. The second part is don't click on the button. Unless it's somebody you care about, a person you have a connection to, don't fucking click the like button. That's the best I've come up with so far. But we're going to continue the discussion. Why? Because the troll has been corrosive. That is something that you and I can fix, or at least we can limit to an extent, by just committing to not poke each other in the back in a negative way because we think it's fun. I mean, you got to think about how childish that is. How old are you? Right? If you're over, I don't know, 15, 16, I mean, you should be past that already. I'm not saying don't have fun and don't poke fun and shit like that, but I'm saying don't be an asshole for the sake of being an asshole. Those times are over. The human beings are more sophisticated. You're more sophisticated. You have all the information at your fingertips through your phone to become a better human being and treat your fellow man, your brother and sister, and women better. Right? We can do all of the above. We just have to choose to. For those who have been convinced that life is so hard and we have to have a war about stuff and all we can do is act out in a violent manner when something displeases us, you're fucking wrong. There's no way around it. You're just fucking wrong. And so I'm pleading, and literally that's what I'm doing, is for my brothers and sisters to stop being fucking trolls. Don't feed the troll.